Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. We all know and love Yvonne DeCarlo as Lily on the Munsters. But were you aware prior to that she was a huge movie star? Starting with bit parts in the early 40s, Universal Studios broke her into stardom with the 1945 film Salome, Where She Danced. Dubbed by producer Walter Wanger as the most beautiful girl in the world, movie camera crews also voted her the Queen of Technicolor 3 years in a row. In 1956, Yvonne DeCarlo was cast as the wife of Moses in Cecil B. DeMille's epic film, The Ten Commandments. And her big screen appearances continued on. In 1964, at age 42, she took on television as the immortal, literally, Lily Munster. And although Yvonne was initially reluctant to take the role, to her pleasant surprise, the Munsters gained her a whole new generation of fans. And with 2 stars on the Walk of Fame, Yvonne DeCarlo's legacy in entertainment and pop culture continues to this day. Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. Did you know that Fred Gwynne, who played Herman Munster, used to have to wear up to 50 pounds of padding for the costume? On top of that, he had to wear 4-inch asphalt spreading boots. This resulted in quite a bit of weight loss, which you can actually see in some of the earlier episodes. Pat Priest, who played Marilyn, said Fred used to down gallons of lemonade on the set to fight the dehydration. One can only assume they made Herman's costume restroom friendly. Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. In the 1965 episode Far Out Munsters, America was introduced to the real-life LA band, the Standells. In town for a concert and hoping to avoid their notorious hordes of fans and trashed hotel rooms, their manager offers the Munsters $1,500 to rent 1313 Mockingbird Lane for the weekend. Also in the deal, he'll put the family up in a posh hotel. And having a few deep debts, Herman, as head of the family, decides to accept. The Standells decide they dig the old house, especially the dust-bellowing organ that plays notes you can see. But with the hotel being way too classy for the Munsters to be comfortable, they decide to return home early, only to find their renters throwing a wild party. As they come inside, the Standells are playing a song called Come On and Ringo. Well, the Beatles' influence is pushed a little bit more as they go into their own version of I Want to Hold Your Hand. Eddie, who is a big fan, instantly recognizes them, and the song eventually wins the family over. Following their Munsters' popularity bump, the Standells scored a monster hit with their song Dirty Water, which went all the way to number 11 on the Billboard charts. Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. In 1965, immediately after the filming of the Lost in Space pilot, Bill Mumy guest starred on the 25th episode of The Munsters, titled Come Back, Little Googie. As a schoolmate of Eddie's, Googie's invited to spend the weekend with the Munsters. He's rude and obnoxious right from the start. Bill Mumy claims his favorite classic TV show was Leave It to Beaver. The same creators for both shows, Joe Connolly and Bob Mosher, wrote this episode. Hence, Bill felt Googie was representing Eddie Haskell times 10. Despite his bad behavior, Herman wants to give the delinquent the benefit of the doubt, but the pranks continue. Grandpa decides he's had enough after Googie purposely blows up his lab, with him in it. His plan? Use a magic trick to change him into a rabbit, but the brat is one step ahead, pulling the old switcheroo with a chimpanzee. Played by Doc Tari's famed Judy the Chimp, she would ironically become Bill Mumy's co-star on Lost in Space as Debbie the Bloop. Of course, Herman and Grandpa think the monkey is Googie, and because they can't change him back, the comedy ensues. Originally offered the role of Eddie Munster, Bill Mumy's parents passed on it because of the intense makeup requirements. Fortunately for him, his Will Robinson character would prove to be just as iconic and not require nearly as much time in the makeup chair. Can't say the same for Judy the Chimp. Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. Joe Connolly and Bob Mosher were 2 gentlemen who created a family sitcom called Leave It to Beaver. They then created yet another family show called The Munsters. This comedy series, based on the classic Munsters, ran for 2 seasons from 1964 to 66. Wearing about 50 pounds of foam padding meant Fred Gwynne had to sweat a bit for his Herman role. It caused him to visibly lose weight at times, and Pat Priest, who played Marilyn, claimed he would down numerous gallons of lemonade just to fight the dehydration. Jolly old Herman Munster is ranked at number 19 on TV Guide's list of the greatest TV dads of all time. The show debuted within a week of its rival, The Addams Family. Although the Addams legacy ultimately became far bigger, by the end of the first season, the Munsters had beat out the Addams in the ratings numbers. Yet another interesting numerical fact was that Al Lewis, who played Lily's father, Grandpa, was actually a year younger than her. Just an example of the ageless beauty of Yvonne DeCarlo. One of my fondest memories of the show was the family's Raven clock. For a number of episodes, he was actually voiced by none other than Mel Blanc, as well as Bob Hastings from McHale's Navy. The theme of the classic Universal monsters being well represented ultimately included one more biggie for a guest cameo. In the episode titled Love Comes to Mockingbird Heights, Uncle Gilbert shows up, aka the creature from the Black Lagoon. And finally, after 55 years, the Munsters have left an indelible mark on American pop culture history.